shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Mad Matty Fight Talk. So we got UFC Fight Night going down in Paris, France. Finally, COVID has ended. The world is slowly adjusting back to how it used to be. And nothing better than to have fights in other countries because these arenas sell out. The fans love it. And they bring out the best in the fighters. And we have a massive fight and fight card underway for that Paris event. It's number 1, Ciryl Gane in the main event, taking on number 3, Tuivasa. Two outstanding strikers. You have speed and accuracy versus power and grit. It's going to be a very good fight. Ciryl Gane is 10-1 right now. The guy has 4 KOs and 3 submissions. He's a really big, really athletic, really dynamic man. 6'4", 247 with an 81-inch reach. The guy's extremely light on his feet. He's very fun to watch. He has good jiu-jitsu, and he makes people fight. He fights really smart. He's in and out. He does not let these guys touch him. Tuivasa, on the other hand, number 3, 15-3, 14 KOs. The guy is an absolute monster. 6'2", 265. He's right there at that limit at heavyweight. 75-inch reach. Now, Tuivasa is on a 5-fight win streak. He's 8-3 in the UFC with UFC fights. He has 12 first-round finishes. This guy goes in there. Bam Bam's his nickname because he's going in there to knock somebody the fuck out. He is extremely fun to watch. He's coming off of a very big win against Derek Lewis. He was heavily underestimated from what I saw going into that fight. A lot of people thought Derek Lewis was going to take him out, but Tuivasa went to work. He implemented a little bit of grappling, which got him inside and stayed away from the power of Lewis and was able to land elbows and nasty strikes, eventually getting a second-round knockout. I think it was the second round. Regardless, the man is on the roll and he's ready for a title shot. And what better way to prove yourself than going against one of the most savage guys in the division in Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane 7-1 in the UFC. He has 4 finishes in the UFC. He also beat Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov, Rosenstrike, JDS, which is Junior Dos Santos, one of the former champions. He's been in 3 5-round fights in the UFC so far, and he's had a few main events. So he does have that in his favor going into this fight. Tuivasa is going to need to bring it. Ciryl Gane speaks a lot about how good he is when he fought Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou has to be the most scary, dangerous striker on the planet. If this was the kingship days, that man would be walking around with a head stack of skulls of kings because he would be killing fucking everybody. He is the scariest guy on the planet. And what did Ciryl Gane do when he fought him? He turned that motherfucker into a wrestler. Francis Ngannou was shooting for dear life in that fight, and Ciryl Gane ended up losing a 5-round decision, I believe. And it was rough. He wasn't expecting that. I guess Francis Ngannou, a former training partner, knew he couldn't stand with this guy or didn't want to risk standing with him because they both get the best of each other. It's speed and accuracy versus power. And Ngannou turned into a grappler, showed off some wrestling skills, and ended up doing what he needed to do to win. Now, can Tuivasa take that into his fight and potentially use the same game plan to beat him? Maybe. Francis Ngannou is a big, strong motherfucker. Tuivasa is also very strong. But is he going to be able to get on the inside of Gane and grapple with him the same way? I mean, only time will tell. Right now, Ciryl Gane is a minus 560 favorite to win this fight. I think the way he moves, light on his feet, and the fact that Tuivasa has 14 wins by KO tells me that this is most likely going to be a stand-up war. Now, if Tuivasa can use effective wrestling and get on top of Ciryl Gane, might be able to rain down some strikes, could get a TKO on the ground. As far as that goes, if he can't get Ciryl Gane down and he's going for takedowns, I believe Ciryl Gane will be able to get a submission at some point. I mean, it really just depends on how this fight plays out. I imagine that this is going to start standing, it's going to stay standing, and Gane is going to be able to outstrike Tuivasa. He's going to be able to be in and out, very elusive, quick on his feet, really accurate striker, and I think he's going to pick Tuivasa apart the same way he did to Derek Lewis. I got Ciryl Gane winning this fight. And I think he's going to TKO Tuivasa in the 3rd round. Tuivasa might crack Gane and hurt him early, but I think Gane will recover. And I feel like he has more tools in the bag, and he's more of an elite striker. So I got Ciryl Gane winning this fight. Now, the co-main event is also a really big fight, and that's going down in the middleweight division. It's between number 1, Robert the Reaper Whittaker, former champion, taking on the top contender, number 3, Marvin Vettori, who's also had a shot at the belt in recent time. these are really good fighters. I mean, Robert Whittaker's 24-6, 10 KOs, 5 submissions, 6 foot, 73.5-inch reach. And then you got Marvin Vettori, 18-5-1, 2 KOs, 9 submissions. Really, really good wrestler. Really aggressive when it goes to grappling. 6 foot, 74-inch reach. Now, Robert Whittaker, he's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Both of the losses are to Ciryl Adesanya, who is the champion. He's 14-4 in the UFC, and he has 2 wins over Yoel Romero. Marvin Vettori, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, 8 UFC wins, and he last defeated Paulo Costa, and that fight had to take place at 205 because Costa wasn't able to make the weight cut, and Vettori showed off some real grit. He was able to eat big strikes, and he was able to strike with a striker. It was actually a different wrinkle in his game. He wasn't going for so much grappling. He was standing and banging more than I was used to seeing. And the thing that Marvin Vettori has, that he can eat a punch. The guy has great endurance, great cardio. He pushes the pace, and most of the time he's the aggressor. Now, Robert Whittaker, he's a counter fighter. He doesn't rush in to pick his shots, but he's been showing off a lot more wrestling. Now, in this fight, I think he's going to be more on the defensive side of takedowns. He's going to be trying to stuff Marvin Vettori, who I feel is going to be desperately trying to get this fight to the ground. If these guys stand and bang, Marvin Vettori has a chin. So he might be able to take Whittaker's best shots, but Whittaker is a dangerous animal standing up. The guy has outstanding kicks, really, really good hands. He's a heavy striker, heavy hitter. He's one of those guys who can shut the lights out. So it really depends on what Marvin Vettori wants to do. And I'm assuming from watching most of that man's fights, he is going to be diving in for takedowns relentlessly. Now, the problem for Whittaker is if he's not able to stuff these takedowns, it could play into the judge's eyes. And, you know, that's controlling the octagon, constantly going in for takedowns, constantly, you know, forcing the pressure. And because Whittaker's one of those guys, he's a lot like Colby Covington. He throws strikes. He might not hurt you, but he'll definitely land some shots, and he'll be able to get inside and turn it into a war. Now, Whittaker needs to stay off the fence. He needs to keep this fight in the middle of the ring. I don't know. He might try and shoot in on Vettori just to mix it up, to change levels, to get him thinking. But I feel like Whittaker's best chance to win this fight is standing up. Now, if Vettori doesn't have success getting this fight to the ground, I feel like Robert Whittaker is going to knock this man's head off his shoulders. I'm pretty sure this is a 3-round fight. So I got Robert Whittaker winning a 3-round decision because Marvin Vettori is extremely durable. He has great cardio. He can eat a punch, and he brings the fight to people. So I think with all that being said, Whittaker is going to be able to defend himself really well. I think the fights against Adesanya has made him level up, and I think he's going to stay off the cage. He's going to be able to use his skills to his advantage. I don't think he'll be able to stop Vettori in the fight. Like, he won't be able to end it, you know, in any of these rounds. I think he's going to go to a decision, but he's going to win a decisive one. So I got Robert Whittaker winning 3-round decision. If it's 5-round, I think it's still going to go to decision. So regardless, Robert Whittaker's winning this fight. Now, another big one. It's the 3rd fight on the main card here. Number 12, Nassourdine Imovav taking on Joaquin Buckley. Now, Imovav is a very dynamic striker, and he's a really good wrestler. He's a really good grappler. Joaquin Buckley is a freaking really high-level striker. So the question is Imovav going to try and stand and bang with Buckley, who has every chance of knocking him clean the fuck out? Or is he going to try and make this a grappling war? Or is he going to mix it up and turn it into a really dirty boxing fight, clinch battle, and stuff like that? Now, Nassourdine's 11-3, 5 KOs, 4 submissions. So he's very diverse in the way he can finish the fight. He's 6'3" with a 75-inch reach, 9 finishes, and he's 4-1 in his last 5. Joaquin Buckley, 15-4, 11 KOs. The man fucking puts people out. 185, 5'10", 76-inch reach. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights, 4 KOs in 7 UFC fights, and he has the highlight reel spinning heel kick to the dome. One of the best knockouts we've ever seen in the UFC. But if Imovav can make this a dirty fight, land his strikes, and turn it into a grappling battle, and use every aspect of MMA, I really do think that Nassourdine can win this fight. That dude is a very dangerous man. Maybe not as well known as Joaquin Buckley because he's not from the United States. But these Russians, man, I'm telling you, these guys are hard-nosed fighters, very good at grappling. I don't see Joaquin Buckley winning this fight. I mean, not that he doesn't have a chance. I mean, if Buckley lands a good shot, he definitely can win the fight by knockout. But he's going to have to try and do that. Because if he goes to decision, Imovav has more tools in the bag to be in better positions throughout the fight than Buckley does. So I got Imovav winning this fight. Now, another fight on the main card. We got Alessio Di Chirico taking on Roman Kopylov. this is going to be a very good matchup as well. Ciryl has had success and he's had failures in the UFC, 13-6, and he's going to be taking on Kopylov, who's 8-2 right now. Look, these guys are very dangerous fighters, but Kopylov has an 88% finish rate by KO. Both guys are really good fighters. I mean, the average fight time, though, for Kopylov, 14 minutes, 31 seconds, where the average fight time for Ciryl is 10 minutes, 12 seconds. And in the significant strike department, Ciryl has the edge on that. He lands 3.3 per minute, where Kopylov lands 2.72 with a 42% accuracy. So he's a little bit more accurate there. Now, the absorb per minute, Ciryl, has a better defense, 62% compared to 55% for Kopylov. I don't know. It just seems, judging off of the stats that I'm looking at, I really feel like Ciryl could win this fight if he can get his game going. He does land more takedowns per 15 minutes, but, Kopylov has an 83% defensive takedown rate. So it just seems like these Russians really know how to grapple, and for whatever reason, they have the edge in that department. I don't know if it's just something that this country just has down pat, if it's the Sambo, I don't know what it is, but these guys are really good grapplers. This is a very evenly matched fight, and Ciryl definitely wants to win to put himself back into the rankings and move higher up the ladder, but I feel like Roman Kopylov's going to get the win in this one for sure. Yeah, and then pretty much the rest of the card, we got Taylor Lapilus taking on Khalid Taha. That's going on a bantamweight. We got a featherweight matchup between Ricardo Ramos taking on Danny Henry. You got a lightweight bout between John Makdessi and Nasrat Haqparast. Haqparast had a really good fight against Bobby Green, so I'm very curious to see how this fight will play out. I mean, that dude's a freaking soldier, so I'm really curious to see how that's going to go down. You got another lightweight fight between Benoit St. Denis taking on Christos Giagos. And then in the women's featherweight, you got Zara Farn taking on Aylin Perez. So this fight card's extremely stacked, guys. I'm really excited for it. If you're on the Pacific time frame, it's going to be 12 p.m., so it's a little bit earlier because it's going down in Paris. And then you got 3 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss this fight card. Ciryl Gane taking on Tuivasa. Hit me in the comments. Let me know who you guys have winning these fights or winning that matchup, because I'm very curious. I like Tuivasa a lot, but I know Ciryl Gane's a monster. So don't forget, hit the bell icon to be notified when I drop more content. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they bread stank. Walk up in the club dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an